Hello everyone and welcome back to another collective moon update. We are having a new moon today in the sign of Sagittarius. I hope you've all been doing well, that you're feeling good. You know me, I always love to know and listen to your stories and see how the energy could be impacting, or if these messages have been resonating in any way, if you've been seeing them reflected back in your life or in your experiences. I always love hearing your feedback and just hearing from you guys in general. So if you feel inclined to share, please do. Personally, for me, I've been on a Wicked kick. Yep, they got me too. If you don't know what Wicked is, it's a really popular musical. It was actually originally a show for Broadway, but they turned it into a movie. So it's been like a really big deal, especially to all of the people that knew the story from the Broadway show. To see it being turned into a movie is like a super big deal, apparently. And I definitely got sucked in. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So I really went in, you guys. Because if you don't know, Wicked, it's basically the origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West from the story The Wizard of Oz, which is another musical. And believe it or not, I had actually never seen it. Of course, I've heard it being referenced. I know some of the popular phrases and stuff, but I've never actually watched The Wizard of Oz. I didn't know what it was about. I had never watched it from start to finish. So because it is connected to Wicked, I felt like it was time. So I watched it. I watched it for the very first time and I absolutely loved it. It was so good. And I really loved the messages too that the movie gave. And then the very next day is the day that Wicked came out in the movie theater. So I went and I saw that story for the very first time. And it's actually a 2-part movie, so only the first part was released and the second part is going to be released next year in November of 2025. So I'm dying to know what happens. Like so many other people, my favorite song and part of the movie was the ending when they're singing Defying Gravity. So when I tell you that I've played the hell out of that song, I'm not joking. It was such a moving part in the movie, and the song is so moving. It's so powerful and inspiring. So yeah, you guys, I've definitely been on that Wicked kick and I do not want to wait till next year to know what happens. I've been trying to see if I can stream the Broadway show so I can see what happens in the second part, but I haven't been able to find it. So I'm am I gonna have to fly to New York just to see the second part? Because I will. But we'll see. Hopefully I can find it online or something. But I'm so curious to see the rest of the story and what happens, because like I said, it was my first time watching, so I haven't seen the full play, the full Broadway show, so I don't know where this is heading. I don't know where this is going. I'm definitely hooked. So yeah, it's a story that I've been drawing a lot of inspiration from, getting a lot of messages from. It has been very comforting in a way too. So that's what I've been up to. It was also just Thanksgiving yesterday, so happy Thanksgiving to those of you that celebrate. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I actually released a Thanksgiving themed pick a card reading. It's a why are people grateful for you? Why do people love you reading? Meant to highlight your good qualities, the way that you make a positive impact, all of the good things that you have to bring to the table. Since I know it's difficult for some of us to be able to see our good qualities, I wanted to dedicate an entire reading to it. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. It was really fun to make and I really loved the messages that we got over there. And yeah, let's get into this new moon in Sagittarius energy. I can't wait to see what the messages are going to be today that Spirit wants to impart to us, that they think would be useful and beneficial for us to know during this time. So when I think about Sagittarius, a lot of things come to mind. But for me personally, the first thing that I think about is spirituality, the stories, the teachings, the philosophies. So that can naturally kind of leak into religion, morals, righteousness. I also think about culture, all of the mythologies and stories from different cultural backgrounds and how they all kind of come together to form a bigger picture perspective. So yeah, I think about bigger picture stuff, like expanding, whether it's through travel or knowledge, and how those things make us wise and makes us, the teachers when we speak out about it. Or it can bring you closer to a teacher or like a mentor type of figure that gives these, bigger picture type of messages, teachings that have to do with these types of themes. So yeah, Sagittarius is associated with so many things, but that's like the main thing that I think about when I think Sagittarius. So we'll see what comes out when we start pulling the spread, if it relates to anything that we just talked about. So I'd like to invite you at this time to close your eyes, take deep breaths in and out, feeling yourself letting something go with each exhale, releasing something, allowing tension to melt away as you align yourself to this present moment and invite stillness into your energy so you can open yourself up to receive the messages that are meant for you, to have the discernment to know which messages are for you and how they can be applied to you in your life, your situation, your circumstances. So while you guys are taking a moment to settle in, settle your energy, open up, I'm going to go ahead and start to pull these cards. I am sitting down today, so if you hear my creaky chair, that's what it is. It's a creaky chair. Just letting you know, you might hear it in the background. Let's take a look, see what comes up, what Spirit would like to communicate to us today for this new moon in Sagittarius, for those of us that are here, gathered together to receive these messages that are intended to be for the highest and greatest good of all, messages that are in line with universal law and order and unconditional love. When I'm sitting down, I can't see the screen as good as when I'm standing, so if the cards are a little bit crooked, that's why. But I will try to get them in frame, at least. But if they're crooked, I do apologize. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so right off the bat, Spirit wants us to know that our experiences, our reality, our life is our own creation. It's all up to us. They want us to be able to see ourselves as artists. We were created in the image of the Creator. So we are creators. We're constantly creating. We're constantly manifesting. So they want us to know that and to take accountability for our life and the way that things are, the experience that we're having, whether good or bad or in between. It is of our own creation. They want you to know your power in that and to feel your power, the power that you have in the way that you perceive things and in the things that are manifesting. It's coming from you. You are the source. So the trick about manifestation is to be able to do it consciously, right? So that we have more control over the things that we're manifesting, more awareness versus being ignorant to it, not understanding the power that we have, the role that we play, how our energy, our frequency, our vibration, how it all impacts and how it plays a role in that, so that we're not manifesting like blindly without any awareness. when you truly understand manifestation, I think you'll be less shocked when you see your creation come into fruition, because it kind of gives you that extra layer of wisdom that you need to know, like, that it's always, you know, 1 foot ahead of the other. It's always one step at a time. It's in your daily habits, in how you do things, how you show up, your energy, the decisions that you make. You know, these things impact how you move in the world, the choices that you make, the way that you go, like what direction you take. And so when you're engaged in your life and present, when you have awareness and you're moving with intention, it's less surprising, you know, the things that you manifest, the things that you create. It's kind of like you kind of know where you're headed, or you have kind of like an idea, like a gist, you know? We're never gonna know for sure when, how, like all of those specific details. It's unknown, but you always know like what way you're moving in, what direction you're moving in. And that gives you creative accountability. It's something that Spirit is bringing up here, that you create your reality. That quote is coming to mind. You don't see the world as it is, you see it as you are. So you have to understand, like, you have a lens, a perspective, a worldview that influences and impacts how you see things, how you move, the decisions you make. These things make you the artist of your own life. You're the one, like, you know, creating the building blocks of your life, and how it manifests and how it plays out, and the karma that you experience. And karma not necessarily only meaning a bad thing. Like I said, we're always manifesting, we're always creating karma, but it's about the quality of the karma. Are you creating good karma or bad karma? And Spirit wants you to know that you hold that power. You know, you hold the power to know of whether you're creating good or bad karma. And so it's about taking accountability for that. And, you know, just like being aware of that. Like once you're aware of that, you have to move with intention. You're not just like flying off the handle and being impulsive and trying to skip steps and trying to not consider the whole. Maybe you're not very holistic in your approach, and then you're confused and you're wondering, like, why are things this way? Why are they misaligned? Why is everything so wonky and confusing? And why doesn't anything go my way? Why is it always one thing after the next? I can never be in peace. You know, like, instead of having that kind of perspective and mentality, you'll be able to answer a lot of those questions for yourself. You'll know the answer to those questions. But in order for you to be at that place where you have that wisdom, it's going to require you to slow down and to understand natural order and flow, and like to learn the cycles, like to learn the cycles of nature and how it works. Because us humans are so similar, and it's because we're connected with nature. So it's kind of like being able to connect to that pulse, align yourself to it, see the oneness, see how we overlap, to really get it from a fundamental level, like what it means when people say that we are one with nature. And the only way that you are really going to experience that is by taking the time to witness it, to notice it, to observe yourself, to understand how it works, how this universe works, how God works, how Source works. And then it's a lot less confusing, and you're a lot more in control because you're sovereign. This is how you find your sovereignty, your power in your own life. You're not just like a bystander in your own life, but now you're like an active participant. You know, you're in the driver's seat. But again, we can't skip any steps. You don't just magically wake up with this wisdom, with this vision. You have to align yourself to, you know, the pulse of the mother. You have to slow down. You have to understand nature so that you can understand yourself. You can find your flow, like fall into your flow, the flow of your life. And by understanding yourself, along with, your values, your principles, your virtues, this is what forms the flow of your journey and how you can become accountable for the things that you manifest, for the things that you experience. Instead of, being a victim of like getting hijacked by energy that isn't yours, beliefs that aren't yours, adhering to social norms and a culture that isn't innately yours. It's not inherently yours. It's something that you've been programmed into. It's something you've been indoctrinated into, and that's what's guiding the way. But that is also what brings you confusion and brings haze, because it isn't you, and it's so ingrained in you that a lot of time it goes like undetected, it goes unnoticed, and you don't know, what's steering the ship. And it's energy that's not yours. Again, beliefs that are not yours, values that are not yours, things that you've been taught to value, to put up on a pedestal, but it's trapping you because it never fulfills you. It never brings you fulfillment. And it's because it isn't coming from your own heart. It's not authentic to you. You still don't know who you are. You haven't found that part out yet. So they want you to be able to discover that, to discover your part, your role. What are you here to do? And you don't have to know all of the ins and the outs and the details of that. You naturally will align to that. Life naturally aligns you. That's how perfect it is. There's a flow, and you naturally just kind of like go with that flow. And it takes you where your soul needs to go to get the growth it came here to get, and to do the purpose and fulfill the mission and the job that you came here to do, that your soul came here to fulfill. It works so perfectly like that, The universe, there is an order to it. There's an order to the chaos. I heard mayhem. There's an order to the mayhem, And your goal is just to align to it. And the way that you align to it is through your principles, your virtues, and not faltering, staying true to those things so that you never give in to any lower impulses, any selfish impulses. Those things keep you in line, keep you in check. It keeps you in the flow, is being able to stay true to those things, because it's easy to be like, yeah, these are my virtues, these are my values, these are my morals, these are my standards that I have for myself. It's easy to say that, to say what those things are, but it's something else to actually be about it and to do it. Remember, being good and doing the right thing and taking the higher ground when it's easy to do, is not the same thing as doing it when it's not easy to do, when it's hard to do, when maybe, you're being faced with a temptation, or again, you're falling prey to these things that aren't yours. Like, you're not sovereign. You're not energetically sovereign. So you're kind of like being hijacked. Your energy is being taken, and something else is in control. So it's when you're really faced in a crossroads moment, or like a difficult type of situation like that, and you choose to do the right thing, you choose to rise up to your morals, your standards, your virtues, your principles, you stay true to those things, you don't have any moral failings, but you're in control, you're in charge, you're in power of yourself. You can tell yourself what to do, how to move. There isn't something else there taking that power from you. That's when it really means something. That's what defines your strength of character, your courage, your heart, your authenticity. That's what shows you what kind of person you really are. And if you're showing up in life in the way that you want to be showing up, that you're proud to be showing up. You're not trying to like obscure or hide anything because you're ashamed. And we're all going to be ashamed of some things. Like, we're not perfect. No one's perfect. But it's like understanding that you can do better. It's like, once you know better, you do better. So if you do something that you're not proud of, it's being able to see that action or those actions, and vowing to do better next time, and just always trying to be a better version of yourself each time. by holding yourself accountable, by being responsible, doing the right thing, being noble. And if this is your approach or something similar, you're on the right path. From my own experience, that's what I've seen, is you will be in alignment with your truth and your journey and the journey that's meant for you, and all of the things that are meant to happen will happen, naturally, when you're going with the flow of the Tao or of God's will. So Spirit really wants you to think about this, to clear out any confusion, any haze, so that you can be able to see yourself clearly, so that you can see your potential. You can get to know, who are you? I think about the human body. You know how the human body, it's made up of all of these different systems and organs and parts that are made up of all these different cells, and then it all comes together and forms the human body that functions as a result of all of these different parts coming together and doing what each part is responsible to do. So that's like us, and nature. That's also how nature works. Everything has a role, a purpose that keeps the bigger thing working and functioning properly, the bigger organism, depending on, what example you're using. And so you have to find out which cell are you? Are you a liver cell? Are you a heart cell? Are you a kidney cell, a lung cell, so that you know your function and your purpose and your role, and you can see these things clearly. You can see yourself clearly. You know yourself. Know thyself. You need to know thyself. You have to bring the unconsciousness to light so that you can be present, so that you can be engaged and moving with intention, and you're not asleep at the wheel, So yeah, this is very Sagittarius coded. This time of lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. You need to see what's hijacking you, what's taking over, what isn't yours, how are you asleep at the wheel, so that you can do better, right? You know better, you do better, and you can express your creativity and create a reality and experience that's more aligned with your truth, with your authenticity, with your purpose, with meaning, something that is going to fulfill you, because it's your purpose. So it fulfills you. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, a sense of self-esteem, or you're proud of yourself. And it's because you're holding yourself accountable to higher order, higher principles, morality. You're staying true to that, and you're letting that be your guiding light. You're letting those things guide the way, and naturally that will align you to your path, where everything that's meant to happen to you will happen to you. Everything that your soul came here to do, the ways it came here to grow, the things it came here to experience, how it came here to evolve. When you're aligned to your purpose, life naturally brings you the experiences that you need to make those things be a reality for you, that are going to help you grow those muscles. Life will align you to those experiences that will make those things be so for you. That's the universe's part. You don't have to think about that, the whens, the hows, the whys. The universe will put that all in your path, everything you need to evolve and to grow. It gets put into your path. But if you're unaligned because you're unaware in certain things, or there's a program or something that's taken over, some poisoned, a poisoned root that is influencing how you move, then it makes it harder, for you to be in alignment with your truth and what's meant for you. And that's where confusion and disruption and distortion comes in, and where, we can be pulled off our path, going in a wrong direction, feeling ashamed of ourselves and our weaknesses, that we're unable to overcome. So Spirit wants you to know that you have the power. It's all on you. And they want you to be able to take accountability for that. Okay, so really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and pull some tarot. I also didn't get any oracle cards today, you guys. I usually read with the oracle cards. I just forgot to pull them. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of the spread, get any further messages. Let's see. I have that Defying Gravity song stuck in my head like this entire time. Okay. I have one more deck I want to pull from. That's perfect. Hopefully these cards are on the screen. You can see them good. So yeah, guys, they're saying that it's going to take time. Like I said, you're not just going to wake up tomorrow and have all the wisdom and have skipped all the steps and now magically you're just in some better place, evolved and grown. It's going to take time. You have to invest in it. It's very one foot ahead of the other. It requires you just to show up every single day, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water. It's just staying disciplined, doing what it is that you have to do, growing something, being present, engaged, and naturally, this is what's going to align you, okay, all by itself. And again, it's once you understand the balance of things, the order, you understand that it takes time and you're not going to be bored in your journey where it's chop wood, carry water, where it's one foot ahead of the other, where it's every day just sticking to your routine, doing what you have to do, setting up that foundation. I feel like a lot of us, we're bored. We get bored when things are just not moving quick enough for us because we live in a society where it's instant gratification. We want everything quickly. We want to take shortcuts. We just want the answer right now, but why can't I have it now? Why can't it just be this way now? Because it's a cultivation. You are the one in charge. Remember, you are the artist. You are the creator. You are the one in charge. It's a cultivation. It's a product, a result of your own actions. What are you manifesting? What are you creating? What are you contributing to? Your life is a direct result of these things, of the decisions that you make, the choices you make, how you move. And so if you start now, maybe 6 months from now, because this is a new moon, so maybe 6 months from now when we have that full moon in Sagittarius, who knows where you'll be in the process. You'll definitely be further along than where you are right now if you dedicate yourself, you know what I mean? So don't focus so much on the slowness, on, oh, but I'm bored, I want to see results right now, I don't want to wait. You have to be patient. You have to understand that this is how it works. It's a cultivation. There's a process. It's a manifestation. It takes time for you to be able to see the karma of your decisions, of your choices, and also for you to be able to heal from these things that aren't yours, in all of the ways that you are not in charge of your ship, that you are not in the driver's seat of your car, that you are being hijacked by something, whether it's an addiction or it's just a harmful core belief, lack mentality, whatever it is that's bringing you back, you also have to heal from that. Oh, I just noticed Temperance. That's a Sagittarius card. I love to see the signs come out in the tarot cards when we're doing these readings. I think that's what Spirit is telling us, is what's going to take time, is you being able to like overcome your shortcomings and your flaws and the ways that you're not in power, the ways that you're not in control, the ways that something else has a hold over you, your weaknesses. It takes time to heal from these things, to purge those things out, to overcome, to align yourself to something higher, to become sovereign, to become whole within yourself, to hold yourself accountable, to take responsibility over yourself. It's not going to be easy. These things never are, but you are totally equipped and you can handle anything that comes your way. You are so strong. Spirit is acknowledging that they know you're tired, you feel weak, you're exhausted, you're wounded, you're battle wounded, but they're saying, don't give up now. Don't stop now. Keep going. Be strong. This is when it really counts. And they want you to be compassionate with yourself. They want you to understand yourself, to love yourself through this, understand, your human condition, and to nourish yourself in the ways that you need to tend to your inner world, your emotions, your heart. Possibly for some of you, it could even be like to get therapy, try out therapy, get a professional to help you sort through your inner world and your emotions, again, so that you can get to know yourself, so that you can get to know where it is that you are being held back, what is blocking you, what is holding you back, so that you can be honest with yourself and tell the truth and let go of anything that isn't aligned. First, you have to become aware of it. You have to see it, right? Become aware of it so that then you know how to reverse it, how to overcome it. What are the actions that you need to take? What is it that you need to do? How is it that you need to move differently so that you don't continue to fall in those patterns and loops that have you in a chokehold, is what I heard. You have to find better ways to cope, healthier ways. You have to break out of the cycle and rise above it. And again, this is a process, guys. It's going to take time. The same way it's like ingrained in you. You have like this neurological pathway, this deep groove in your brain that, makes you respond in that way. You have to rewire it. You have to undo it. And that's a process that's going to take time. But it's you coming back into your own sovereignty. It's you coming home. It's you being able to overcome weakness so that this other energy that was hijacking, like they can no longer hijack. You don't have any weaknesses for them to take advantage of, for them to hijack. You become full and whole and complete and sovereign and in charge. The lights are on, you're home, you've arrived, right? And you keep reaching up, rising up again to your standards, your principles, your morals, your virtues. Not only when it's easy, even when it's hard, even when no one's looking. That's when it makes a difference. And this is what's going to help to shift things for you, to move things for you, to clear things out. It's going to dispel any confusion around. It's going to help bring you to better circumstances. It's going to give you peace. I feel like you're going to be able to sleep better at night. It's like you're going to be at peace with the way that life goes. You're not going to be like worried and stressed of like if there's enough, and am I doing enough? Am I on the right path? You're not going to have these questions. It's like you're going to know. You're going to have peace in your heart. You're going to be able to rest easy and breathe easy because now you have this wisdom. You're not questioning. You're not missing the magic. So you're moving through life with more acceptance and grace because you have that clarity. You have this higher wisdom, this truth. And so naturally with that comes trust. And with that comes peace because you know everything is going to align exactly how it's meant to, and you don't have to overthink it. And you don't have to try to control things. You can just let go. You can just surrender and be in flow, in the flow. So yeah, I think this is also going to require some inner child healing, Go back to, when you were innocent and see what happened, like what took over to shape you, to mold you, how you are today, because this is where you want to go and like do that work to start like undoing things and rewiring things. It's usually, it usually starts for us during childhood. So Spirit is acknowledging that some of us are going to have to go back and do like inner child healing and all of that good stuff. So maybe that's why they were saying that it's good for you to get a therapist or something, depending on what it is that you're working through, what it is that you have to work through. There's support out there, there's help, and there's all different kinds of help and therapy. It's not just talk therapy. There's a lot of things that you can do to bring healing, to tend to your inner child, to heal, those wounds, to go back to that tenderness where things are open and vulnerable, where you can really do that deep inner work and get to know yourself, without the influence of all of the things that hurt you. Get to know the true you, who you've always been underneath that pain and, those attachments, those addictions, whatever they may be, those things that were holding you back. That's not really who you are. So it's kind of like you're coming back home to yourself. And the first step to do that is always going back to like your inner child, because that's like when you were at your purest. And that's like when your gifts were like intact. And so you can uncover what those things are when you come back to that purity, to that innocence, to that vulnerability, that emotional vulnerability. Well, guys, that was the message for this new moon in Sagittarius. That was a beautiful message, very powerful. We went deep. I truly hope that this served you. Take your time processing this, digesting this, finding out your next steps. It's a process, it's a journey. Settle in, get cozy, enjoy the ride. This work isn't always easy, but there's always magic all around to be experienced and to be moved by and to be felt. There's always beauty all around that you can enjoy in this process. It's not meant to be like dark and gray, the whole time. It's meant to like open you up so that you can see the magic of life, and so that you can connect to those things, and you can see like God's presence. You can get to know God and how it all works and everything. So it's very beautiful. I do offer personal readings if you would like to dive deeper into your specific situation. If you feel like you need more help, guidance, support on your journey, I would be happy to connect. I would be happy to work with you. I will go ahead and leave my email in the description box below if you're interested. Thank you so much for being here with me today, for sharing your energy and contributing to this space. I appreciate you. Take good care of yourselves, and until next time, bye.